Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends, my peeps, and my peepettes. This morning is a great morning. It is Sheba Talks, another episode, and I am just excited about today. Tuesday is I love Tuesdays, and I love it because I start off most times in prayer. But then I go into my Sheba Talks, and I don't know, it just gives me the energy that I need for the day. And so we basically are going to engage, right, in another talk this morning. Last week, oh my goodness, the feedback that I received was incredible. Because what happens is that with the Sheba Talks, either you can listen to it live, right? As I'm speaking, you are there literally, or you can listen to the replay. I believe that I had, tons and tons of people who listened to the replay. So if you listen to it after the fact, thank you. If you shared it, thank you. I love when, people share the Sheba Talk because it's powerful. It's empowering. It just, like I said, it gets you started. It's motivational, and these are some of the things. It's inspiring. These are some of the things that I heard from last week's talk. And so, thank you again for those who shared. And one of the recommendations was that I go and delve a little bit deeper into the topics because most times it's very broad. And honestly, that's very intentional because I allow people to fit themselves into wherever the talk is, and it just allows them to really resonate with the information, for them to apply it and, just to be better, basically. And so, but for this particular talk, I decided, this probably is a great idea for me to do that. And so last week we talked about show and tell, the adult version. And so I decided to title this week's talk, Show and Tell 2.0, because we're going to go deeper into it. And then next week we'll probably do the final, the final edition, if I can say, of this talk, or the final episode of this particular talk, right? Because it has 3 parts. So last week we discussed, when children go to school and they have a time of show and tell, they bring the things that brings them joy and that, that they love to engage in and play with and so forth and so on. And I basically shared that the adult version of show and tell is your growth mindset and your emotional intelligence. And so today on the talk, Show and Tell 2.0, I want to hone in and focus on your growth mindset. I love everything about those 2 words in particular. So I love it even more, if I can say, that they're put together. And, when you think about showing your growth mindset, right, it's not a place of, perfection, right? It's not to show I'm perfected. It's not to show that I've arrived. It's not to show that I got this. But it's basically to show that you are a work in progress. This is who you are. This is who we are as people, as human beings. Okay? So we have that established. We have that laid out. Wonderful. Now we can move forward. Okay? So when I was thinking about the title, I was thinking about growth mindset. What I realized is that a growth mindset is an intentional mindset. It's an intentional person. It's not a person that just allows life to happen or just to pass you by. No, rather, a person who has a growth mindset is one who does not miss a learning opportunity, a teachable moment. They are intentional about their position, and they are intentional about their place in life, in relationships, in business, in anything that's connected to them. It could be life in general. It could be family. It could be relationships. It could be church. It could be, it could be so many different things. Whatever makes up your life, this is where you decide that you will use your muscle, so to speak, of a growth mindset. What I also know about a growth mindset is that it's growing. So there's this continual desire to grow and to be better than you were yesterday, last week, last month, last year. There is evidence of growth. Listen, a person that says they have a growth mindset but there's no evidence of growth, there's something else that's happening right there, okay? There's something else that is occurring in that phenomenon there. There will always be evidence of growth when a person has a growth mindset. You know, we hear a lot about New Year's resolutions, right? We hear a lot about, you know, these affirmations and, you know, different things that people engage in, okay, to measure growth. But the truth of the matter is that growth is growth, and it can stand on its own. It speaks for itself. It reveals and it shows itself, you know. So I don't want you to get caught up in, you know, New Year's resolutions by this time next year, and, you know, this year I'm going to, and that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But if you look at it, and I didn't look up this statistic, which maybe I will for the next episode. I really want to know statistically how many people who decided they're going to have a resolution actually, reaches that goal. Most people will say, oh, I missed this last year. Oh, I didn't do this last year. Oh, but then they go through this. Oh, it's 6 months into the year. Now I'm going to, you know, tune in and I'm going to plug in. No, sweetheart, stop it. You got to plug in and tune in from the very beginning, and not only from the very beginning, but stay through the duration of the year. All righty? This is not a resolution. This is a lifestyle. This is an intentional lifestyle that occurs every single day of the year. And if it's not evident, I'm sorry to tell you, but you do not have a growth mindset. You don't have it, my dear. If you're not able to look at life, look at challenges, look at relationships, look at business opportunities, look at, places to travel, if you're not able to look at those things as the ability to grow, then you are not operating in a growth mindset. I'm taking a moment here that you can reflect and you can think. This is not a magical phenomenon. This is not, something that just happens by chance. This is intentionality. Growth speaks for itself. Growth is evident within itself, okay? So this morning, I really want you to subscribe. People always say, oh, subscribe to my YouTube, fine, right? But I want you to subscribe to this lifestyle. I want you to fully immerse yourself as being a person that has a growth mindset. Because if there is no evidence of growth, then growth has not occurred. That's within your finances, that's in your relationship, in your business. Listen, any aspect in your personal development, any aspect of your life where there's no evidence of growth, then that means it lacks a growth mindset. And the thing about that is that growth begins in your mind. Yes, I'm going to just keep it at that. Growth, it starts in your mind. It's a mindset that I cannot stay the same. And no, it's not to say, oh my goodness, my self-esteem is so low, and I'm just the worst person on the planet. No, it's really telling yourself that there's more to life than what I'm experiencing. And a few months ago, I had an encounter with God that was very powerful, right? And what He said was that, most times we live in this place, if I can say, of extremes. Okay? So if it's not bad, then it must be good. If it's not good, then it must be bad, and any other variation of that. I'm just using this for an example. But what He shared with me, and I'm telling you, it just blessed my heart. He said that, do you know that good can become better? Or good can become great, and great can become incredible, and incredible can become phenomenal, and phenomenal can become whatever comes after phenomenal. and it's okay. It's okay for us to see, yes, there are things that happen that's bad, and there's things that happen that happens that's good, but the good can become better. The good you can become a better you. The good you can become a great you. The great you can become an incredible you. The incredible you can become a phenomenal. Can you see this here? Do you understand how it starts in your mind? It's like that you see the end goal, but then you also see the steps that it takes for you to reach this end goal. That is the epitome of a growth mindset. I see the end, but I know it's going to take work. I see the end, but I know there's things that I have to do. I see the end, but my mind has to change. My attitude has to change. I see the end, but these habits, these bad habits, these habits that don't equal or value anything, that do not bring me closer to my incredible self, I have to stop these things. I have to stop it. Every relationship that causes me stress and toxicity and trauma and hurt and pain, and those relationships, I can't engage in those anymore, because there's a place that I'm trying to reach, but I know it's going to take work. That's a growth mindset, my friends. I'm hoping that you will subscribe to being a person that is intentional about your growth. And one of the things that I'm going to say, and I'm going to kind of, wrap this up and close this up for this episode of Sheba Talks, is that I remember my mentor told me, she said, Sheba, one way that, and we weren't speaking about growth mindset, but I'm feeling like it can relate to what I'm saying today. And what she said was that anytime that you look at your return on investment, oh my goodness, your ROA, we hear a lot about that term in money and wealth and building wealth and, financial literacy and intelligence, so forth and so on. But how many of you consider your return on investment in life? And she was basically telling me, listen, if there is no return, if the return is very, 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 very little, don't even engage. We're going for the big. Listen, there's nothing wrong with small beginnings. But listen, at the end of the day, if you're going to be real with yourself, we're going for the big things. And so sometimes big things require big investments. It requires big changes. It requires big risk. You are worth the risk, quote unquote, of growth. You are worth, and if there is and if there will ever be any risk that are connected to growth, you are worth it. And I'm hoping that something in this talk inspired you, it ignited something within you to get on the path of growth. Get on the path of growth. Subscribe to, tell your mind you will grow. Tell your body you will grow. Tell your life you will grow. Your relationships, you will grow. My money will grow. Any other part of you or any aspect of your life where there's no growth, tell you you will grow. But then also, you have to discipline yourself and really, really be intentional about it, because it's worth it, and you are worth it. And so that is my time here for Sheba Talks, and I thank you so much for taking the time to listen, for taking the time to share the link, for taking the time to join me on this journey, because by no means have I arrived, but this is a process. This is a lifestyle that I am invested in for the rest of my life. And so I want to thank you again for tuning in for another episode of Sheba Talks. Next week, same time, same number, and I hope that you will join me. Okay? Now, just a last announcement, is that I'm really focusing in on my YouTube channel. That is what I'm going to focus in for September and October. And I want you to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. As you know, or as you should know at this point, everything is Sheba Empowered, okay? So tune in, subscribe to my YouTube channel. My team, we are working on uploading all of the Sheba talks from years now onto there so that you can go back as a reference point. And I want to give respect and thanks to one of my friends who actually made this recommendation. She said, Sheba, come on, girl. People want to go back and listen and listen and listen and listen and listen. And so I said, you know what? That's a great idea. And so we implemented it immediately. So there's a focus. You're going to notice there's a focus that's going to happen as it relates to my YouTube channel. Shortly, probably within the next week or so, I'm going on what's called Mission 1000, which means that I will get or obtain 1,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel. And I really want some buzzing. I want people to go back and reference some of the information, or if not all of the information, I want them to share it so they can be a tool of growth, of wisdom, of knowledge, of, just developing yourself as a person, as a woman, as a person, as a woman, as a human being, basically. And so, again, Sheba Empowers. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, Sheba Empowers. And as I mentioned again, I will see you next week. Peace.